Holy shit. Did all the beveling on the ground out all 4 ends of the factory frame rail. Sprayed in there with some more weld through primer. It's kind of hard to tell with the tapers on there now. I guess you can kind of see it with the paint. And of course, did this end of the frame. And I also cut my frame extension pieces. I cut them at 14 3/4 inches long, so that I can have about an 1/8 inch gap on both ends, so that I can get a nice deep penetrating weld. And of course I tapered, beveled the ends of those. So I have to say thank you to Tom Shop for creating this cool grinder stand, because that just saved my bacon when it came to beveling those frame end pieces. It was perfect. I could just stand there, grind it all nice and clean, nice and square. And of course I'm trying to do 2 things at once, which I kind of suck at. So there we go. Anyway, so yeah, very excited about having that done. The frame extension pieces have been kind of on my mind for a while, but I didn't want to get them done, try and get ahead of myself. Glad I got the clutch done. That's all finished up. Car should be good to go from this point forward as far as physical running and moving. As I said previously, the clutch wasn't bad, as we discovered when we pulled it out, but it must have got a little oil on it or something at some point, because it did slip a bit now and then. So all nice and clean. New flywheel, new clutch, pressure plate, and trans and T-case are all cleaned up. Another 20 years of grit and grime to throw back at it. So that's all good. Pretty excited with the progress. I think that the frame pieces are going to be good to go. I do have the insert pieces over here yet. They're pretty much good to go. So I'll start getting those fit in and figure out exactly where I want to punch some holes in the frame rail section to the extension pieces, so I can do the plug welds. As you can see, finished putting the frame extensions in. Just got done doing the final bit of welding on it this evening, and sanded it all down, or should I say ground it all down, and threw some primer at it and let it dry for the night, and we'll take a look at it tomorrow and see how it really looks. But she's long now. She's 15 inches longer than it was, and so I hope it, when all the paint dries, it still looks okay. And I'm sure I'll have a little bit of touch up, and of course I'll hit it all with black. I'm gonna clean up the frame before I do any major painting, but I just wanted to throw some primer. There's quite a bit of bare steel, as you can imagine, with all the welding and grinding and everything, so it's all kind of looking all right now. Welds, I'm a much better grinder than I am welder, and of course I have done a lot of the welding off camera. You may have seen a clip or two of the time-lapse videos of me welding, but I prefer to leave those welds off of the internet, because you know, all of the hecklers out there, not that I mind being heckled, but I'm sure that it'll be just fine. And from this point of view, it doesn't look bad. So I'm pretty satisfied with it, considering what I know and how much I know. As I said before, I have a welder, but that doesn't mean I'm a welder. But happy the way it looks, and a couple of updates. I did decide that I am going to not only stretch the body and the frame, but I am going to push the rear axle back. So I have a stretch tank that just recently arrived, and so I'll be taking the factory tank out, which means I'll be pushing the rear axle back about 6 inches farther than it would be in stock location on this frame. So with the 15-inch body and frame stretch, that would leave me at a 108 wheelbase. I'm going to push it back probably another 6 inches or so. So that should get me right in the 114 range, which should be pretty close to perfect in my opinion with the 38-inch tires. Still pretty positive that I'm going to do away with this bumper. I think it's going to go to other location, like scrap bin probably. So frame extension pieces are in, all the welding's done, the frame anyway, and all the grinding. There are plug welds here and here, and 3 across the center, and then another one here and here. So that's both internal and external. So the same would be inside the frame rails here, basically in the same location, on both sides, of course. So more than satisfied and sure that it'll be plenty strong. Because if you recall, the frame rails themselves are basically an 1/8 inch thick, and I put some 3/16 inch stiffener plates inside of there. So this section of the frame is no doubt stronger than the original frame was. As far as square, she came out perfect on length. I am exactly where I wanted it to be lengthwise, equally on both sides, and out of square I'm about 3/16 out of square overall. So what is that, a little over, just a little under 1/8 of an inch total. So I will consider that close enough. I'm pretty sure that this frame was not that square to begin with. So after all of the years of abuse that I've put it through, next will be to throw some flat black paint at this frame, kind of get it cleaned up. I'm going to get this test tank out of the way and make room for the new one. And you can see all of the dust on the floor. That's a whole lot of grinding right there that I've been doing over the last couple of weeks. Of course, I've cleaned it up a couple of times as well. So there's was a lot, and I'll get out that all cleaned up. We'll be taking these spring perches off. Of course, these are an nth degree aftermarket spring perch, which pushes the top of the spring back to make the spring vertical. If you're familiar with TJ, you know that when you lift them, if you don't do something to correct the spring perch, that the springs will sit at an arch. They'll be bowed. So that's what nth degree did here. I'll be taking those brackets off. I'll be cutting the factory spring perch off, and I'll be pushing everything back roughly 6 inches. So from roughly here to somewhere about in here, I guess. It's right about there. I'll probably push it back just about as far as I can. I think I got the Barnes tank, so that should give me, it says up to 9 inches with a Dana 44 or 8 inches with a Dana 60. I'll be running the Gladiator 44, so theoretically I can, push it back as much as 9 inches, but it starts getting kind of cluttered in the back with the track bar and everything else. So you got stuff back there, shocks, little stuff. So I'm gonna try and make it exactly where I want it, but that's the next step. I'll start tearing the rest of this apart, prep the frame rails for paint, probably make it so I can roll it outside and hit it with a pressure washer before I throw any real paint at the frame. But I'll be throwing the body down back onto the body mounts before too long. get some paint on the top of those frame rails first. So, of course, it's a slow process, and when you're doing this in your free time, your spare time, non-family time, then that slows the process down even more. But happy to have a family and enjoy them. Today is Nevada Day. Of course, I live here in Nevada, so we went to the parade today and had a good time with that. Trick-or-treating last night, wandering around town, watching all the ghosts and ghouls, and funny little blow-up costumes. Kids are so cute when they're wearing those little costumes, the way they walk and have to waddle around. Had a really good time with that last night. I've removed the stock spring perches from both sides and these sway bar mounts, which were roughly here in this general area. So got those out of the way. I won't be needing them. I'll be most likely running a sway bar back here, but won't be mounting there. I've kind of mocked up where the axle is going to be with my old beat up JL drive shaft. Figure if I'm pushing back from roughly close to the center line of the front axle at this point, back to about 114, which will be the 15-inch stretch of the frame and the body, plus about 6 inches going back. So roughly 114 coming off the T. It's going to be center line's kind of roughly there. Roughly of the axle, maybe a little bit farther forward. Anyway, I wanted to kind of get an idea of what kind of clearance I would have with this stretch fuel tank. If you didn't know, this is the Barnes stretch tank, 13-gallon capacity. So I just mocked it up and kind of mocked up the general idea of where the rear axle is going to be. Roughly at ride height, so everything's mock up at this point, but that's kind of the progress that I've made as far as moving forward on the framework, and I'm gonna start working on doing spring perches here before too long, and of course I have a lot of axle work to do. Once I get the rear axle stripped down, I can put the truss on it and put it in here for a real mock-up, but at this point it's kind of where I'm at. Not looking too bad. I have a couple little things I need to clean up on the frame still, but it's odd to be working during the daylight hours. That's pretty abnormal for me. But today I was able to make some time to be out here in the garage when it's not freezing cold, and it's kind of a dreary day to be rooting around outside anyway. So I wanted to share a little bit of progress. One cool thing, last weekend I did acquire a donor vehicle. So I'll be replacing these beat up half doors with the doors off of it. This one, the driver's side, obviously had a pretty big dent in it at one point, and whoever fixed it, quote unquote fixed it, just basically filled the big dent up with Bondo, and that's all cracking out. The passenger side has seen a little bit of love with some rocks down at Johnson Valley, so it definitely needs some replacement. And yeah, for anybody that's curious, that is absolutely true. God forgives, rocks don't. One other thing after I got the car that I'm going to replace is this windshield frame. Couple of fun trips through, again, Johnson Valley, maybe some Rubicon, Barrett Lake. A couple of trails of giving it some love. Very similar damage on both sides. So, and the other car does have a good windshield frame on it, so I may as well replace that since I have it. Anyway, here we are. It's a beautiful Sunday. Enjoying some garage time, kicking up dust and making some progress. A little bit as it is, it's still progress, stepping forward. hope you all have a great day and enjoy your weather, whatever it is where you are. Take care.